Hello and welcome. This is Tips Tuesday. I'm Brian Kale. I'm with the Center Professional Coaching. We do career and executive coaching. The topic for this week is resume tips. So, this topic of resume tips, it's really part two of a video that I posted last week called Resume 101. And that was just a basic introduction to resume, and the emphasis was on the three major standards or formats that are in circulation now, and my opinions on those three formats. I didn't think I'd have time or want to take the time to get into best practices and tips, but that's what I wanted to do this week. So, again, as a refresher, and point number one would be on the resume format. And I do think for 90% of the people out there, combined resume format is the best one to use. And as a refresher, I'll use my resume as an example. In the combined resume format, you've got contact information at the top. You usually have some kind of a summary section, and then you have work history or professional experience. And within that section, you use bullets or bullet points, and that's to call out accomplishments, big wins that you had, special things that you want to call the reader's attention to. Add a little bit of that wow factor into your resume. And then at the very end, you may have education section. So that's it. Those are the main points or the main sections of a combined resume format. So point number one, probably best to use combined resume format. Point number two, length. So length of a resume, standard tends to be 2 pages. So if possible, get what you need to get down on paper in 2 pages if at all you can. And kind of related to that is point number three, and it's really a question, how far back in my work experience should I go? And frankly, within the resume world, there's 2 schools of thought around this. One, conservatively go back 10 years, starting with your current or most recent job first, then go back in history. I've also seen and read 15 years, 15 years. So that decision on going back 10 years versus 15, for me, it really comes down to a marketing decision and your strategy on how you're going to sell yourself into that specific position that you're pursuing. And if you want to talk to me in depth about this, I'd be happy to talk about that. Just connect up with me and we'll set up a consultation. I'll be happy to go over that with you. So point number one again is around the format. Combined resume format I think is the best. Length, 2 pages. 3 would be how far back in the resume do I go? And again, it's either 10 or 15 years, but it comes back to strategy and marketing. The other point that I wanted to make on a resume is best practices, size of font. So 11-point font tends to be the standard, as much of a standard as there is. Try not to go any smaller in your font than 10-point font. You're not doing this for the application tracking software, you're doing this for the humans out there, the recruiters, the HR department, the hiring manager, for example. So you want to make it easy for them to read your resume. The last point that I'd make around resume best practices is around a summary section, and a little more depth on that. This may be called professional summary or may be called professional profile, something like that, but in a paragraph form, call out those things that are important that you want the hiring manager, the recruiter to know. This is why you really want to hire me in short summary form. This is pretty much becoming a standard now more and more. I'm seeing some kind of summary section, and I do recommend it to my clients. So that's it. Those are the best practices, the tips that I wanted to pass along today. If you wanted to do a resume review with me, I'd be happy to do that. Just connect up with me. Best way to do that is go to my website, ascendprocoach.com. That's ASCENDPROCOACH.com. There's a phone number there. Call that number. and we'll get in touch. I promise I will call you back. We'll set up a day and a time to meet, and we'll treat this like a free consultation. I do free consultations all the time. That's what I've got for this week. I hope everyone is having a great year so far. Talk with you soon.